What's going on, guys? Gio back again. So today, just a little update. Ran into a snag with the motor. I had pretty much everything ready to go, ready to take apart, and then I went to go take off the pulley, the crank pulley. I mean, put on my big DeWalt drill with the big 19 millimeter crank pulley attachment. Didn't do anything. Had the drill supercharged. Nothing. I decided, maybe it was just I didn't have enough torque. The gun wasn't strong enough, so I got my giant. Oh, I'm trying to get here. My giant breaker bar. It's like 2 feet long. Still nothing. The issue that I was running into, I had ended up hooking up a pipe on the end of the breaker bar, basically making a cheater bar. And what happened was the actual motor on this engine stand was tilting. So it just seemed like it wasn't strong enough, and my biggest fear was it was just gonna snap clean off of the actual motor, or of the actual stand, which would have freaked me out. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll go online and kind of see what people are doing. Outside of using an air gun, which I have an air compressor, but I'll show you there. But the thing is, I don't have an air ratchet, so I was like, this kind of sucks. I was kind of bummed out because I have a bunch of parts. I was ready to go install them, and kind of document one part after the next while installing them. But it's a better shot of the motor. Yeah, it's been covered up since. I went ahead and I cleaned up the starter, and I hooked it up on the motors, kind of make sure everything was good. And I ended up having to before I painted it, I taped off the connections on the mating surfaces for the starter to make sure no paint or clear or anything like that got on it, because the last thing you need is that paint or clear on that starter connection, mating surface, and then when you go to bolt it back on and you plug all your plugs in, and all of a sudden you have background. And that's the one thing about these motors specifically. After talking to a bunch of Honda guys, Honda gurus, guys and gals, grounding the motor correctly is the biggest thing. Outside of, obviously, you want to make sure you have a good connection, so your all the accessories and stuff like that work. You have good, spark plug, and everything's working. But additionally, when you have a bad ground in your spark plug, you can actually cause a fire, or background on the motor. You can actually start a fire because stuff starts arcing, and worst comes to worst, or one thing leads to the next, and the next thing you have blown fuses and popping relays and shit like that. So yeah, super bummed a little bit about that. But what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna reach out to my buddy Ricky and see if he's got either a bigger motorized guy. I'm so freaking tired. Either a bigger ratchet back, or a bigger, why the fuck can't I say this shit? Cordless gun to get that off. If not, I'm probably gonna have to buy one, which is gonna suck. I looked up online. Milwaukee has one. I think the model number is called 2767. There's one is 2767-18 and 2767-20. And apparently it's got 1,400 foot-pounds of torque capacity on the motor itself, and it's handheld. So it's not something you have to plug into the wall physically, or it doesn't run on air. But yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive. So I went online and looked it up. They're $350. So I'm like, you know what? It's not gonna work. So I'm going to try to find a different solution, because you know, unlike a lot of people that try to do these builds, you know what I mean, a lot of this stuff is my hard-earned money and my time. So like I don't have money to be thrown around on a $350, you know, freaking, you know, cordless gun to try to get the shit off. $350 I could throw it, you know, to something else or just save it. But long story short, I'm gonna try to get that taken care of. Probably the next couple of days, but tonight is gonna be a pretty short video. I'm just gonna put in some footage of me messing with the PLM stand that I bought for the motor itself, which I'm still trying to figure out how to work because the legs on it, I have it here, the legs on it, they don't seem to line up in my motor. Once again, I do have a K24A2 out of a TSX, but for some reason these arms, there was two things that I ran into. One, the bolts, some of the bolts on I think this side and that side was actually really short, which didn't make any sense to me. And then also the mounting tabs for these arms and bolts, like it just didn't line up at all. Like, it was just weird. I tried like interchanging them, and the sucky thing is that the box didn't have any instructions, so it kind of led me to like run online and try to figure out what, you know, see what people had pictures of the orientation of the stand. But even when I looked at videos and I you know, positioned these stands according to the way they looked on videos for other people and even on pictures of people, you know, that have online, you know, with the motors and stuff like that mounted, it still didn't line up. Like it just seems like they're way off. You know, I particularly, like, I'm not gonna, like, I thought about like looking at one of the better stands. Like I know Vane has one, and there's another company called Tatubian or Tatobian. But I mean, those stands are, you know, 300 plus. You know, I know the Vane stands are like $300, but the Tatobian stands are like, I think they initially started at 300. Like that's what it says, but then when you like add all the extra shit, you know, like, oh yeah, it comes with bolts. Oh yeah, add the bolts and paint the bolt, you know, paint the rail and all this shit. That's like a $450 stand just to put the motor on. I'm like, you know, and that's the thing, like, me realistically, I would love to use it to put the motor on to where it's secure and I could like transfer it. You know, I could lift it up, you know, with an engine hoist, with it attached to the motor, and then put it in the back of a truck or the SUV, transfer the motor safely and not have to worry about it tipping over. You know, and that's it. And my thing is, my car is not, you know, obviously you guys know I'm putting this engine in an MR2, so, you know, using one of those stands is not gonna work for me, because those stands are traditionally meant for, you know, being able to mount it on there and then, you know, mount it into the chassis with no problems. But, you know, for someone that in an MR2, you can't really do that. Like the engine has to be, you know, basically just stable, but you can't, like, I can't like remove the subframe or like the back of the bumper. Like in a lot of front wheel drive cars, people like they knock out the subframe and they like drill it out in the holes. I can't do that in the MR2. You know, the car would have to be jacked up really high, and then the motor put in, and then bring it back down on top of it. So that's the one thing that like I can't do the MR2 at all. So realistically, me spending that much money on a stand just for it to sit on there temporarily, or quote unquote ease of use while I mount a transmission and all that, it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So I'm just gonna return this one from PLM. Like I said, it did not work, and, you know, granted, you know, popular or contrary to popular belief, you know, some people said it was a good stand, some people said it was a shit stand. I kind of want to experience that for myself, because, you know, I just wanted to mount the stand. I didn't care about being able to mount the transmission on there. That really wasn't my focus, especially not because I don't have the transmission anyways. I'm trying to find one, a good deal. My boy Gene at JDM Express, he said he's gonna be on the lookout for one for me in a second. You guys will he'll let me know. But for right now, you know, I don't have the transmission, so like me being able to mount it was not gonna, you know, I'd care less about that for right now. Yeah, so nothing much in this video. Just gonna chill for tonight. I mean, I have an event I'm going to tomorrow, Tuner Evolution, down in Orlando at the Orlando Convention Center. So I'm not trying to do too much tonight, you know, and then, you know, get super tired and I won't be able to function throughout the day until I get there. So, yeah, I'll be posting videos, pictures. Hopefully we get to see some people. Supposed to be a pretty big event. I actually got the tickets online, and then I ended up using a coupon code for one of the, like a big subscriber that I'm subscribed to, PR Beauty, aka Joanna Marie. I've been following her for a long time, and yeah, fortunately she actually has a code on her like Instagram. So if you follow her, you know, obviously check in the link, you'll see her coupon code, and then yeah, just hit me up if you have any questions. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys out there tomorrow. Link up, do something cool. But yeah, just that's all I really have for today. So once again, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions about what I'm doing here, let me know. If you guys have any suggestions on how to get off the underdrive or the crank pulley easier than, you know, trying to break my back with this big ass bar, you know, yeah, let me know. I mean, let me know any tricks of the trade. Once again, I mean, I have basic hand tools. I mean, I do have a toolbox, you know, pretty big box. I got a ton of shit in there, but I mean, this seems like, I mean, this shit is tight, bro. I tried to yank that thing out and like the whole stand was just twisting. I got to the point where I started doing it and like, I was like, you know what, if I twist this shit hard enough, like, and I could do it, like I was able to like, you know, press down and put my weight on it. I felt like the bolts that were holding the motor on would have just snapped clean off. So like, I was like, you know what, I don't want to risk it because that shit would have really pissed me off. You know, I'm sitting there, you know, putting all this money and time in this motor, and then to have it just fall off the stand, blah, and then probably won't even loosen up the damn pulley. That would have really pissed me off. So yeah, I'm just gonna take a step back, you know, reassess what's going on and try to find a different solution so I don't ruin anything. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I still have a bunch of the stuff took off the motor. They're all in there. I've actually come to the conclusion what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to be trading everything minus the starter, because the I have an electric water pump setup that I'm going to be going on this car, on the motor, and I can't use the Kseries starter. It said this one particularly is built to use either B or D series starters. Whenever I look on online, it's very confusing. Like, it's really hard to figure out which one's which. I don't know the model number, but if you guys know the model number for a B series or D series starter that works specifically with the K-Tune / Mazir electric water pump kit, let me know. I believe Right Hand Drive Kev has a video on that, but I'm gonna double check. I know he mentions it, but I don't think he actually puts in like a model number or a link for the actual starter, so I'm gonna try to check that out and see. But yeah, that's, I mean, other than that, I mean, once I get the pulley off, I can able to crack the timing case open, you know, get the head off, you know, everything. I want to get all that stuff off, cleaned up. I want to check the top of the pistons and make sure everything's good. Clean it up, you know, put on a new gasket, you know, ARP bolts, you know, head studs, like the whole nine, and then, you know, go back into the, once I get that off, and then I put on the, sorry, let me back up. Once I get the pulley off, I can crack open the timing case, take the head off. I do have SuperTech valve springs, retainers, guides, seals to install. I'm waiting for the valves. The valves, I always either find, you know, the intake valves are in stock and the exhaust valves are not, or I found the exhaust valves are in stock and the intake valves are not. Like, every time I try to look, I want to buy them both together as opposed to trying to buy them separately, because then I feel like it'll slow the project down. So once I get those, then I'll be able to like put all that stuff inside the motor. Once again, I'm going to be doing a lot of that stuff myself. I mean, I've, you know, watched a video, I kind of read a couple of books and even just asking people like physically how you do it. It seems pretty simple. Oh, probably gonna cut that out. It seems pretty simple, but I wanted to make sure that I consulted the experts before I did that. But everyone's pretty saying that it's gonna be super easy, so I'm not really worried about being able to do it because it's pretty basic. It's really hard to get it wrong unless you're just completely, just utterly mechanically just dumb. Like I can't even find the word right now. But basically, if you're somewhat mechanically inclined, you should be able to do this with no problems. You just gotta make sure that you're doing the right order, and make sure all the parts are in where they're supposed to be. That's pretty much it. So I know this video, it was supposed to be short, but now it's long. It is what it is. Peace, love, subscribe, hit me up.